You can dramatically improve your swimming by improving your feel for the water, and contrary to popular belief, you can do so quickly. Most triathletes don't have a lot of experience in the water, which means that they don't naturally interact with the water very well. By improving how your hands interact with the water, you can make big improvements in your swimming. Hi, this is Andrew Sheaf with Mastering Flow. I help you dramatically improve your swimming by providing simple, actionable strategies that you can implement today. I believe that anyone can improve in all areas of life. All it takes is the right guidance. Let's get better. Improving the mechanics of the pole is important. I've certainly addressed it in the past. But there's another way you can improve your speed by improving your pull. You can improve your feel for the water. I'm not sure I remember the first time I heard about improving your feel for the water, but I definitely remember the first time I felt it. I had a coach who made me swim with my hands closed. Of course, I thought it was stupid, and swimming with my hands closed felt terrible. That was until I opened them back up, and it felt amazing, like I was holding tons of water. Almost immediately, I was swimming faster and easier. It's a simple idea. If you change the position of your hands while you swim, you can change how your hands interact with the water. Because of how good it felt, you'd think I would have done it all the time. Well, like most ideas, I promptly forgot about it. It wasn't until later in my coaching career that I started to use these ideas systematically to help people improve their swimming. After a lot of trial and a lot of error, I learned to get the most out of changing these hand positions by using them strategically. It goes way beyond just swimming a couple laps with your hands closed. You have to use different positions, you have to know how to vary these different positions, and you need to know how to challenge performance while doing so. That's what I'm going to share with you today. To get us started, let's take a look at some of the best positions. I'll show you what they are and why they work. While it starts with closed fists, there's plenty more that you can implement right away. Here's your simple solution. The simplest way to change the size of your hands is just to close them. It works for two primary reasons. Swimming with a closed fist prevents you from using your hands to move water. As a result, you have to learn to use your forearm to create propulsion. Ever hear of establishing an early vertical forearm? That's what swimming with a closed fist can help you do. The second reason is that closing your hand prevents your hands from feeling the water. For the first time, they're going to go silent. While that may seem like a bad thing, it actually resensitizes the hands. The magic happens when you open them back up. All of a sudden, you can feel everything. It can feel like your hands are giant dinner plates, and that's going to have a big impact on how you pull. Another great variation of this strategy is to hold tennis balls in your hands. If you need something tangible to hold on to so that you actually keep your hands closed, this can work really well. Next, we have devil horns. This is just like swimming with a closed fist, but more extreme. Even though you have two fingers that are exposed instead of 0 fingers exposed, your hand is even less effective. My suspicion is that this breaks up the flow of the water, making it harder to feel the water. That means more forearm interaction and further desensitization of the hands. When you open the hands back up, they feel even bigger. That means more effective pulling and more speed. Next, you're going to learn to hold your paddles upside down. There are ways to make your hands smarter without making them smaller. In fact, paddles can be really effective if they're used the right way. Simply wearing paddles tends to make things easier and doesn't actually improve your pull. It doesn't really help you learn anything. However, if you can hold your paddles upside down, it can make a big difference. Just grab a paddle by the bottom and hold it so that it's flat against your forearm. What does it do? It forces you to lock your wrist, ensuring that the hand and the forearm move together. And because the hand is going to move backwards at some point, so too is the forearm. Remember the early vertical forearm? That's exactly what this is. By holding the paddle upside down, it forces you to execute this skill correctly. That means the hands are going to be interacting with the water more effectively, which means more speed. Last, you're going to pinch your paddles. While holding your paddles upside down is great for getting you into the right positions, pinching your paddles takes it to the next level. Just grab a paddle by the side, pinch it, and swim like that. It's the same concept as holding your paddle upside down, except the wrist isn't locked in place. It's free to move. However, if you don't lock it consciously yourself, it's going to be really difficult to go anywhere with a floppy wrist. You need to create a stable wrist so that you can hold the paddle stable. Of course, this also forces you to move the forearm and the hand together, so you're getting a big surface area with the pull. Even better, you're developing the strength to hold the wrist in the correct position. That all means smarter, more effective hands, all with the one simple change in how you use your paddles. While swimming a couple laps with different hand positions can be helpful, it's nothing compared to using these tools strategically. That's where the magic happens. So how do you actually implement these ideas strategically? Let's get into it. The first step is performance. When you're using any of these positions, it's important to do more than just swim. You want to measure your performance. You want to measure your stroke count, you want to measure your speed, and you want to improve. There are different ways to implement both. When it comes to speed, you can try to descend where you're trying to make each repetition faster. Or you can try to build where you try to increase the speed within each repetition. Lastly, you can alternate speeds where you go faster or slower, either by repetition to repetition or by lap to lap. When it comes to stroke counts, you can add strokes, you can take strokes away, or you can alternate where you go higher or lower stroke counts. This can all be done from a lap to lap basis or repetition to repetition basis. It works because you get concrete feedback. And because your hands are in certain positions, the only way to improve your performance is by improving your arm pull. The specific goals and the concrete feedback accelerate learning. And because you've been working on your pull, that means more effective pulling. The next strategy is variation. I've given you 4 different ways to modify your hands. How should you implement 2, 3, or all of the different variations? The simplest strategy is just to vary the position. It can be done with drills, it can be done with swimming, or it can be done with both at the same time. You'll simply vary your hand position by repetition or by rounds of the set. Because you're constantly varying your hand position, you'll need to accomplish the goals of the set in similar yet different circumstances. That variability is a potent stimulus for learning. Plus, it happens to be a lot more engaging and a lot more fun. You don't necessarily need to be strategic about how you change your hand positions, you just need to do it. You can use any hand positions you'd like, and you can use any distances or any performance goals. The options are endless. Here's a set that demonstrates these ideas. You'll see that you vary from a closed fist to an open hand to an upside down paddles all within a round. Then, on the odd rounds, you'll take the same number of strokes, each 50, in spite of the different hand positions, and on the even rounds, you'll try to go the same time each 50, in spite of the different hand positions. Then, each time you repeat a round, so every time you do the stroke counts, you'll try to take lower strokes by round. Likewise, you'll try to go faster each round when you do the speed rounds. It's a simple example that can be used as a template for any other way you want to do it. The next strategy is to create contrast. Rather than varying what your hands are doing on a repetition to repetition basis, you're going to vary them at the same time. How do you do that? One hand has one position and the other hand has another. Here's a version of what it looks like. It's a simple version where you just close one hand. It works because it helps you feel differences in the stroke at the same time. Your goal is to pick up the differences in how your hands are interacting with the water. It helps you feel. And once you can feel, then you can do something about it. Using the example we just saw with one closed fist, you can try to make the closed fist hand feel as powerful and as effective as the open hand. The closer you can get, the more you'll improve how that hand is interacting with the water. The possibilities for different combinations is endless, and they're all good. Experiment and find out what works best for you. As with any set you use, add some performance measures to accelerate your learning. Here's what it could look like in practice. In this set, you'll start with one closed fist, alternating which fist is closed by 25. Then you'll do another 100 where you're pinching one paddle, again switching by 25. Then you'll do a 50 freestyle with strong effort and normal hands. The goal by round is to reduce the stroke count on all the swims. That way you're focusing on speed for the 50, stroke counts for the hundreds, and you're contrasting your hands within those hundreds. It's a simple example that can be used as a starting point for designing your own sets. If you want to improve your speed, you need to improve your pull. Beyond working on the specific mechanics of the stroke, you need to improve how you're interacting with the water. For more on how to improve your feel for the water, check out this video right here. As always, keep it simple and keep getting better.